What's up, traders? John Howell here. It's Monday morning my time and I'm getting ready for an amazing week. I'm exhausted right now because I've just finished a massive workout, and I'm getting ready for a really big week. So yeah, one thing I want to talk about in this video, guys, is I want to talk about your one thing, or your many things, but your one thing. And what I mean by that one thing is this, is that what is that, if you look at your life right now, you know, whether it's your trading or whatever, what is that one thing, or what is the things that don't worry about that. I just saw a girl running in the rain and I think that's fucking hot. A girl running in the rain. Anyway, you guys can go there wherever you want to go there. Yes, she had her clothes on. I think it was just absolutely just amazing that we had women going out there and getting their hands dirty, so to speak. Anyway, so one thing I want to talk about, guys, in this video here is your one thing, or not the one thing, but if you look at your life as a whole, right, and you say, okay, for example, with your trading, let's use your trading example because this is mostly a trading channel. What is, if you looked at your trading and you said, okay, then there's obviously things that you need to improve on with trading. Same with me, right? We're always growing, we're always learning. The one thing, if you look at your trading, it's okay, what is that one thing that I know that if I focused on this week, it's going to help me move that needle a little bit forward? Because if you look at any successful traders, that is, like I've been fortunate now to be mentored directly and indirectly, mentored by 4 different 7-figure traders. And the one thing I've noticed about them is that it's not that they always have good winning streaks. It's not that they don't even go through bad times. Amongst all the 7-figure traders, they may go through a really good time. They might make a few $1 million, and then suddenly the ego gets in place, and they start to have bad habits, and they start to slip in bad habits, and they start to go backwards. But the one thing is, but the thing is that what is that one thing that if you just focused on that, okay, forget all the noise and the bullshit and all that sort of stuff, what is that one thing for you that you know that if you just focused on this week, it's going to help you move forward? Could you imagine if you did that every week? And I'm not talking about doing a million things. I'm like, no, what is that one thing? And one of my marketing coaches, actually, I think it was Russell Brunson. If you guys actually know Russell Brunson, if you guys own your own business or whatever, I think he was talking about like the domino effect. That what is that one big domino that if you really focus on this, it's going to really help. It's going to really help all the other areas in your life. So I'll give you an example from me. I'll give you an example on 3 different areas. I realize, or I know that when I go into the gym in the morning, that if I just absolutely just fucking crush it in the gym, I'm talking about I just smash it. I do weights and cardio first in the morning, fasted with a lot of BCAAs in my system, okay, and a bit of creatine as well too. Now I realize that whenever I do that and I just smash it, right, and I just force myself, and when I'm doing the reps, I'm like, yes, and I'm breaking through. I realize that has a domino effect because now it's helping me clear my head and all those other areas in my life. That's that one big domino, right? In that there. For my trading, as an example, my one big domino would be right now was to continue to be focused and patient. No, I'm going to reword that. Continue to be having the ability to look at the charts with a non-emotional, non-biased view, because the truth are always in the charts, and the better we can read the charts, the better trader will be. So my job is to continue looking at the charts, even when I'm in a trade or not in a trade, continue reading the charts with a non-emotional and a non-biased view. What is the chart really telling me? Not what I want it to tell me, or not what I need it to tell me. Well, I'm short the market right now, so I'm gonna find any reason to short this market. Yeah, that's what I fucking did during the election. I got fucking killed. Do you know what I mean? It's like the charts were telling us we're gonna go up. That's what the charts were saying. Me, I was looking for any reason for this thing to go down. I was scraping for newsletters, newspapers, all that sort of stuff, and I couldn't fucking believe that election. You know, 4 or 5 years, every single year I was successful leading up to the election, and then I just got smashed on the election because I started listening to all these other bullshit out there. Anyway, it's another story. You know what I mean? But my one big domino is that I know that if I can continue to read what the market is telling me on a non-biased, non-emotional view, well, that's going to have a domino effect on all my trading, right? It's going to allow me to see the market for what it really is. It's going to allow me to see setups more clearly. I'm going to get in. I'm going to be a lot more calmer, and all that sort of stuff. Make sense? So that's, I've just noticed that, like, just recently, I'm not in any positions right now at all. Not in the Forex market, not in the futures market, and not in the stock market or options for that matter. And I noticed that when I just pulled myself out, it's like, okay, what is this market really telling me right now? What's going on right now? Not what happened in the last 10 years, but what's going on right now? What is the market telling me right now? Because at the end of the day, right, as a trader, that's all we have is right now, don't we? We can't trade based on what we think is going to happen tomorrow, because what we think is going to happen is, I guarantee, is always going to be wrong, because we are never smarter than the market, right? We are never ever smarter than the market. The market is always smarter than us. I had one guy on my YouTube video saying, well, I guess I was right and the market was wrong. The market's never wrong. It's our ability, right? It's our ability to be able to trade, be able to read the market for what it really is. And I promise you that over the last 15 years of trading the markets, if someone said to me, you know, if I had to go back to myself, which was, you know, back when I first started, and what would be the lessons I'd tell myself, I would say, forget every other newsletter, subscription, YouTube video, or so-called guru out there, because all they do is give your opinions, and their opinions based on what they just think is going to happen. And guess what? When you think something's going to happen, it may happen, but it may not happen in the time frame. Makes sense? So I have this an old friend of mine who's been sending me this economy collapse, and I look at this shit he sends me. I'm just like, they've been saying this shit for so many years now. For the last 10 years, they've been saying that. But the market, the charts, which is the truth, right? The only thing in the market really is the truth, and it isn't charts. And if you go back to my last few videos, you'll be able to see that it's, well, for us to have the ability to be able to read the charts, right? So if I went back to my time, I'd say forget everything else and just get really, really good at reading what the market is telling you. Now, someone said to me just recently, I went over how the markets work and how they operate, peaks and troughs, flows. They go for runs, they pull back, they go for runs and pull back, and all that sort of stuff. How do they truly operate? And someone said, oh, that was a good basic lesson there, John. The thing is, it may be basic, but it's the foundation of how the markets work. It's not basic, it's the most important thing to focus on when you are trading, which simply means who is in control of the market right now. Not because we had 1 or 2 down bars or 1 or 2 down weeks like we're seeing on the Dow Jones right now. That doesn't matter, right? It's like, who's in control right now as I speak. Just because we've got 2 or 3 down weeks or 2 or 3 down bars on the daily chart or whatever, does not mean the sellers are in control. Make sense? It just simply means that they're having a few pullbacks. And if you notice how the markets work, what do? They go for a run and they pull back. You look at that Dow Jones weekly chart. What's happening right now? It goes for a run and then it has a pullback. So this could easily just go for another good run again. It's been going for a run for 3 months. It's just had basically 1 week of a pullback. Do you know what I mean? So always, always, always be analyzing what the market is telling you, and always be analyzing what the charts are telling you. guys, I've learned this lesson so many times. Even when you look at like the gold stocks, right? The GDX, the GDXJ, even things like silver. If you look at go back and look at that silver chart on silver, right? I'll probably do a video a bit later on this, but go back and look at that chart on silver. And before silver came off, tell me what that weekly chart was doing on silver. It was making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So the sellers were lowering their prices. So the back of our mind saying, if I'm going long here, I'm going against what the market is telling me right now. And guess what happened? The market tipped over. So the more the ability, our trading ability really comes down to how do we, your ability to be able to read what the market is telling you right now, because that's all we have, right? Is what the market is telling us right now. And I guarantee you that if you can just trade based on what you see right now and not what you think is going to happen based on this other YouTube video or this professional or this so-called guru, the better trader you will be. Because the market's always telling us what's going on. If you go back and look at one of my last week's video, I said, is the stock market crash, what's next? And I talked about the Australian market, right? The Australian market had a real big pullback. But what followed that? The market started rolling over first, right? The market started rolling over first, and then we saw a big crash. If we're going to see a big crash in the stock market, in the US market, we're going to see something very similar to what I did in that video, right? We're going to start to roll, the chart's going to start to roll over. But that's what I need to focus on, right? That's my ability. That's what I need to focus on myself in order for me to keep getting better at trading. And then my ability when I'm reading what the market is telling me right now, with a non-emotional, non-biased view, just it is, you'll be a lot more calmer. You can expect things to happen, and you can just be patient and wait for those really, really good setups. And the more that I'm patient and wait for those really good setups throughout the week, the better I am as a trader. And the more that I'm just like, yeah, this is what's going on right now. Make sense? So, you know, what is your one thing? You know, another one thing for me is that I have a habit of staying up a bit too late and not getting my 8 hours sleep. I know when I get consistent 8 hours sleep every single night, my energy level seems to be amazing throughout the day, right? But when I don't, I need naps and all that sort of stuff during the day. So my one thing when it comes to that, which has a direct impact on my trading, my ability to be able to focus and all that sort of stuff, is me making sure that I'm going to bed at a certain time. So for example, right now I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I trade from 6 through to 7 right now as I'm doing this recording on the US stock market, and then that's how I start my day. So I need to get up at 5 o'clock at least an hour beforehand so I can wake myself up and so on and so forth. So I need to be asleep by 9, right? So that means I need to be in bed by 8:30, maybe reading a book and not turning on this phone. I have a problem sometimes with watching YouTube videos at night time. And I know that keeps me awake, right? Because I know whenever I put my phone down and I lay down, I'm out like a light because I'm so tired. But I'm keeping myself awake. And that discipline is got to come from, okay, it's 8:30. Phone is off, let's read a book or something, let's lay down, let's relax, let's meditate, let's whatever it is. Make sense? So there's a lot of things that goes in, a lot of things that go there, but my main things are what I've talked about in this video. And I know that when I personally start to continue to really focus on those things, all those domino effects, right? I'm doing a really, really good job at the gym. I'm getting a good night's sleep every single night. I'm focusing on what the charts are telling me right now, not what I want it to tell me, or with a non-emotional, non-biased view. I notice those things together then creates a lot more of a stable trading career. Makes sense? And then I can start to move forward from there. So you got to ask yourself, what is your one thing, or what is your like I talked about a couple of things that I need to focus on this week myself in order for me to keep moving that needle this week, keep moving forward this week. What are those things that you need to focus on? Ask yourself, what are those things that, you know, that if you just started focusing on, maybe it's not a couple of things like I talked about today. You know, maybe it's just one thing. But guess what? Focusing on one thing that you know and it's going to move the needle moving forward is so much better than what most people do in life. What do most people do? They don't do anything. They keep doing the same shit over and over again, expecting a different result. They always try to be, like, for example, with trading, right? They try to be right. They try to pick tops. They try to pick bottoms. They just don't learn from history. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, so with your trading right now, with your life right now, what is your one thing out there? And I want to leave you off with this. If you are not doing anything for your happiness deep down inside, no amount of money, no amount of trading, no amount of success, quote unquote success in your life is going to make a difference to you. And what I mean by that is this, is that whenever I don't stop, like every day I spend at least 10 minutes a day just closing my eyes, quietness, and just saying thank you to the universe. So I normally spend 5 minutes just saying thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And then I spend 5 minutes just thinking about my life and thinking about everything like that. If you're not spending at least 5 minutes a day just saying thank you to the universe for the things you have, you're not wiring your brain to focus on what's right? Because our brain as a survival mechanism, we're always focusing on what's, you know, you might make a really good trade, right? It's like, oh man, that was so good. Next, I want to make more money next time, right? And more money next time. Make sense? And I want to make more money next time and more money next time. And it's never enough. We're never happy. Make sense? But if you just step back and look at your life right now, I guarantee you that there's so many amazing things you can think about. Like, for me, it wasn't that long ago, or about, what was it? 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so 7 years ago, I got totally wiped out from marriage, divorces, and all that sort of stuff. And I was left with nothing. I was left with a few $1,000s to my name, no car, a single flat mattress for the floor, and a computer. And I had to move into a shared accommodation place. And I remember I had to walk to the shops, which was a 20-minute walk to the shops. And then I used to buy bulk food. $50 was all I could spend per week on food. I couldn't really go out anywhere because I really didn't really have any money. And I only had a few $1,000s my name to actually start to pick myself back up and start to trade again. And that was difficult. Right? Because I'm like, and even when I did start to trade, like for my first few months, like I blew up 50% of my account because my mind wasn't right. Right? I was like, I need to make money. I need to make money. I need to make money. And my life started changing around when I started focusing on things that made me happy, like going to the gym and really having a good workout, just having a good time and smiling. You know what I mean? And enjoying that process. Every single day, stopping for a period of time and just saying thank you to the universe. Because one thing I realize is what you focus on will expand in life. What you focus on expands in life. Right? There's so many things we can focus on in life, right? And it's where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so, as an example, like right now, like I'm driving like a beautiful SUV car. I'm living in a beautiful place. I have a lot more freedom in my life right now. Things are amazing in my life. Things are truly amazing. Like right now, I would have just prayed to have this life right now back 7 years ago at the shared accommodation place, right? Thinking, I need to get out of this place. You know, like I need to move forward. So there's always, and I guarantee your life right now, right? I guarantee your life that there's so many amazing things in life right now that you can be truly grateful for. And when you do this, it's a stacking effect, right? It's not just one day do it and then don't do it, right? It's a stacking effect, isn't it? It's like it stacks and stacks and stacks, and you do it for like 90 days every day. It's like a 90-day challenge. I guarantee you 30 days later, 6 months later, 90 days later, you start to feel a lot difference out there. You know, like for me personally, I notice I feel so much different when, you know, when especially when it's beautiful, beautiful sunny day. I love just going down for a walk down to the water, and then just sitting in the sun, right? And just beautiful, just saying so grateful for the sun and so on and so forth. Make sense? So if you're not focusing on these things in life, there's none of these other things that you're trying to move forward is going to matter in life, right? Because it's never going to be enough. You're going to be happy when. You're going to be happy when. You're going to be happy when. And sometimes we just need to stop and say, you know what? I'm so grateful for right now. And guess what happens when you do that? It's a funny effect. When you stop and you say, I'm so grateful for X, Y, Z, right? And you truly be grateful for what you have in life, you start to become more happier. And when you start to become more happier, you start to become more relaxed. And when you start to become more relaxed, you make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, you end up making a lot more money. Make sense, guys? So with that being said, I'm truly grateful for you. I'm truly grateful for this medium. And I'm truly grateful for these bloody grey hairs that I'm getting right now, because it's you know, been slept around by these markets 15 years and doing really, really well in my trading right now. I'm so grateful that I can teach you these lessons and share with these lessons, and hopefully some things I've said in this video have really, really helped you out. So here's your Monday motivation for you guys at the start this week. Here's some things to think about. Leave a comment below, guys, and let me know what you think about this.